Okay, students, now we are going to start our next module, that is module number 4. Here we are going to discuss regarding the how the fast law actually going to be utilized for a open system. Basically, up to this limit, whatever we have learned, that we have seen that how fast law of thermodynamics can be applied for a closed system. Whatever formula we have seen, that del q minus del w equals to del e, that formula is basically we have applied for a closed system where the energy is crossing the boundary of the control volume but mass is not. That is a closed system. Okay, now after application of closed system, if we want to apply that same first law of thermodynamics for a open system, when out of the control volume mass and energy both will cross the boundary. Now how that for an open system first law of thermodynamics can be applied, that we are going to see over here. Okay, so that we have to do some changes or modification in terms of first law of thermodynamics, so that we are going to see in this particular module. So first lecture is going to discuss regarding that conservation of mass applied to a control volume. Whatever control volume we are discussing here, that is the open system. Okay, so now in this pictorial view I have explained a kind of open system. We are taking lots of open system mechanical devices are there, like turbine, pump, heat exchanger, nozzle, that they will come later slowly. Now for this particular discussion I am taking turbine is a open system mechanical device. Why it is open system? Because in case of turbine we know if it can be a steam turbine, it can be a gas turbine also. By gas turbine that airplane actually runs, and if using a steam turbine we know today also some of the loco engines, like they are using like a heritage train. In Darjeeling we can see that, or in Simla we can see some steam engines still are in operation. So those steam engine using a steam turbine, and some airplanes they are using a gas turbine. So turbine can be used for both the purpose. Working fluid can be a steam or working fluid can be a gas. Whatever it is, the working principle of turbine will be remain same. That means that high pressure fluid comes into a turbine, then it will help to rotate the turbine rotor. That way the expansion of the fluid will occur inside the rotor blades. Okay, so after rotating that turbine rotor, that means after work done to the turbine blades, that gas or that fluid will come out from the turbine, and that point of time that fluid will converted into low pressure fluid. So that's why in this particular picture you can see this kind of a divergent shape is basically a symbolical representation of a turbine. Every time whenever we are going to represent a turbine, that point of time we will use that kind of a divergent shape, because it is a symbolical representation of turbine, because in turbine expansion of gas or expansion of fluid is taking place, and that symbol is basically a representation of a expansion process. That means in this inlet part I have written over I, that means it is a inlet part, and here I have written E, small e, that means it is the exit part. So you can see from inlet to exit that shape is being divergent, that means some expansion is going on, volume expansion is going on inside the turbine, actually it occurs. And here I have written that high pressure fluid, PR dot means pressure, high pressure fluid coming in from the inlet port, and low pressure fluid is going out from the exit port. Okay, and I have written inside it is turbine, a shaft is there, that means out of the turbine a shaft will come out from turbine rotor, and if you couple a dynamo with this shaft, some electricity will be generated. Okay, that means our mechanical motion you are getting at the output. Now how you are going to use that output, and that's your wish. It can be used as a drive a automobile or drive a loco train, or it can be turbine can be used to generate some electricity. So that means it will produce a mechanical motion. That's why I have shown a rotational direction and I have given an arrow outward, and W dot SH. SH stands for shaft work. That means W dot SH, it is nothing but shaft work. Shaft work rate, because I have put a dot at the top. So always while you are putting a dot on the top, that means it with respect to time you are calculating the work done. So obviously turbine is a work producing device, that's why some work will be going out from the control volume. Understood? So this dotted boundary representation of control volume, and that Q dot I have given an inward arrow. That means heat is being supplied to the system, because some this high pressure fluid, whatever it is coming in the turbine, obviously high heat value will be there. High heat, it will be very heated condition. Whatever steam or gas, whatever coming in the turbine, it will carry lots of heat with it, and that heat is basically doing the work done. And low pressure fluid, whatever it is coming from out of the turbine, it will coming with very low temperature or low heat. So that means that heat is going to convert it into some other energy, that is the mechanical energy. That's why that heat is going to be supplied to the system. Q dot means the heat rate with respect to time I am considering, mind it. Every time while you see that a dot is placed at the top of the symbol, mind it, they are representing a rate of the thing, but that means here heat rate, here work rate with respect to time. Understood? Now what we are going to do here, we are going to find out how the conservation of mass is applied in this particular case. Conservation of mass, we know from our childhood knowledge that mass will be remain constant before and after the process. It is indivisible, that means it is indestructible. After and before and after the change, the conservation of mass always will be maintained in every case. So here in this particular control volume, we are going to see how that conservation of mass is applied. Okay, now suppose we are considering that during a time interval of dt, dt means a small time interval, consider a small time interval dt, some mass is coming out, obviously some gas is coming in, means some fluid is coming in means some mass obviously coming inside, and some is going out, that means obviously some mass is going out of the control volume also. So you can consider during a time interval, dt, it is a small time interval, we are considering, let the mass, that is considering dmi. Okay, we are considering a dmi. mi stands for inlet, m stands for mass, and d representation of small amount of mass. Let the mass dmi enter in the control volume. Control volume I write in short CV, and the mass dme, same kind of representation I am doing here. EMI stands for inlet, and similarly ME stands for exit, D stands for elemental mass. Leave the control volume, leave the control volume. Whatever I have written over here, that is how much amount of mass flow is coming in and how much amount of mass flow is going out of the system, and it is occurring during a time interval of dt. Understood? Now also I should assume that let mt represents the mass inside the control volume at time t. That means in this particular control volume, what amount of mass at time t it is remain in the control volume. So I can write mt, the mass inside the control volume at time t. That means at time t, whatever mass is actually inside the control volume, that means inside the turbine, what amount of mass is existing there. Mi means that is coming in, me means coming out, and mt means at time t. T representation of the time interval, time at a particular time. At particular time t, what amount of mass is remain inside the control volume. And similarly, we can also assume that m t plus dt, what it is representing? It is representing after t plus dt time, what amount of mass is inside the control volume. Why it is we are assuming so? Because after dt time, we have considered a time interval of dt. After dt time, obviously some mass is coming in, some mass is going out. So after time dt, mt will remain not be there. Obviously it will not be there. Some changes will be there. If the mass inlet is more comparing with mass exit, so obviously mt plus dt will be more comparing with mt. Understood? Depending on the mass flow rate in and mass flow rate out, that mt is can be increased or can be decreased. Understood? So I am assuming mt plus dt, it is the mass inside the control volume at time t plus dt. So at t plus dt time interval, after dt time interval from t, after dt time interval, what amount of mass still inside the control volume? That is mt plus dt. Understood? So after this assumption, then we can write that what is the law of conservation of mass. By law of conservation of mass, what we can write, before and after the mass will be remain same. Suppose I can write this law like this manner. Check it out, it will be very easy to understand. mt plus dt, what this is? This is the after the time interval of dt, what amount of mass is existing inside this turbine. That can be written like this manner. Whatever mass is present at the starting of the time t, that is mt. Now some mass is coming in, what amount of mass is coming in? dmi, and some mass is going out, what is that? dme. Check, is it very easy to understand? I think it is very easy to understand. mt plus dt, that is the final mass or the after the total time span, what amount of mass is existing inside the turbine, that is mt plus dt. And that obviously will be equal with, initially the mass was mt, then dmi is coming in and dme is going out of the turbine or out of that control volume. So dmi minus dme, that is the resultant mass staying inside the control volume after the time interval of dt, and initially the mt was present there. So that will give you that mt plus dt. It is very easy to understand. Now if I continue that equation like this manner, that just I am shuffling the side, that means that mt plus dt minus mt I am taking at the same side, and it will be equal with dmi minus dme. Okay, what does this mean? In this particular equation, I can see, from this equation I can see that what is this left hand side? Left hand side is giving us the change in mass in the control volume during a time interval of dt, isn't it? So I can write LHS is giving us change of mass in control volume during the time interval, during a time interval of dt. So after the time interval of dt, these are basically quotation, not understand any other symbol, dt. Okay, change of mass in control volume during the time interval of dt, that is the representation of LHS. And what this RHS means to us? RHS is giving us net mass flow. RHS is giving us net mass flow into the control volume during a time interval of dt. Understood? Same kind of thing, just it is a change of mass and it is a mass flow, because it is occurring with respect to some time span. Okay, mass flow inlet and mass flow exit. Now if we do a division both the sides, suppose I can write like this, dividing both sides by dt, doing a simple operation. So it will be changed like this, m t plus dt minus m of t divided by dt equals to dmi by dt minus dme by dt. Simple operation. Now you can check the left hand side. If we consider this left hand side is very familiar with you people from the mathematical background. If we consider that left hand side with respect to dt tends to 0, then it will be giving you a definition of derivative, isn't it? So if we consider at the limiting case, means as dt tends to 0. If dt tends to 0 for this whole equation, then how the equation will change? As a result of that, how the equation will be changed? Obviously this left hand side will give you a derivative of m, dm dt, because what is dm dt? Dm dt means change of mass with respect to time, and that is this thing, mt plus dt minus mt. That is what? That is the change of mass in a time interval of dt. While this left hand side comes with a limiting case, while the dt tends to 0, so obviously this is giving you a definition of derivative, dm dt. And the right hand side will give you dmi dt, that is nothing but I can write like this, m dot I, because I already told that dot means with respect to time, and ddt or dmi by dt, if it is going for the limiting case while dt equals to 0, then I can write it m dot I. M dot I means mass flow with respect to some time, and that is this. At limiting case while dt tends to 0, obviously dmi dt comes like m dot I, and similarly that dme dt, it will give you m dot e. Same principle, same funda. While on this particular equation, if we put dt tends to 0 at limiting case, then this whole equation converted like this. And that is the equation whatever we have to keep in our mind, that change of mass for this control volume, change of mass with respect to time, dm dt is nothing but equal to mass flow rate m dot I, mass flow rate inlet minus mass flow rate exit. That is the final equation we are developing. Here the left hand side, what it is giving us? The rate of accumulation of mass. Why it is accumulation? Because after time interval of dt, some mass is coming in, some mass is coming out, and some mass still remain at the inside the turbine at the beginning. So dm dt means this is the thing. This is the thing means whatever mass is accumulating or remaining inside, whatever mass is accumulating inside the control volume, after a time span of dt. So from this equation I can write in the same fashion that LHS gives us the rate of accumulation of mass, rate of accumulation of mass inside the control volume. That I am not writing again, it will be a same thing, rate of accumulation of mass in control volume. I should write in control volume. And RHS, what it is giving us? Similarly, RHS has a rate of mass entering. RHS is giving us a rate of mass entering, minus rate of mass leaving from the control volume. That control volume will be there from the control volume. That is the RHS side. So that way we have we basically now come to know that for an open system, any open system, it can be turbine, pump, heat exchanger, nozzle, whatever it is, after a time span of dt, if we try to find out that whatever mass is still accumulating in that open system, then you can write the equation like this: dm dt equals to m dot I, that is the mass entering in the control volume, minus m dot E, that means mass getting out of the control volume. This result will give you the accumulation of mass inside the control volume. Suppose if this control volume having multiple number of inlet and exit, here I have shown you the one inlet and one exit. If the multiple number of inlets are there and multiple number of exit points are there, then that equation can be converted in this particular form also, that dm dt, if the multiple inlet and multiple exits are there, then that equation can be written like this also: m dot I, summation of m dot I minus summation of m dot E. So this equation is valid while the multiple number of inlet and multiple number of exit points are there. So obviously total mass flow rate incoming and total mass flow rate outgoing. The subtraction result of these two will give you the rate of accumulation or mass accumulation with respect to some time for that control volume. So that is the whole thing regarding the conservation of mass applied for a open system. Now in second video for this module, you are going to see how the conservation of energy is going to apply for an open system now.